Pop culture is more than just entertainment. It's a lens into society. Pop culture is more than just entertainment. It's a lens into society, relationships, and human behavior. I'm Grace, and here on the Grace Report, we dive into stories beyond the headlines. Whether it's reality TV drama, celebrity scandals, or royal family intrigue, I'm here to break it all down. What it means, why it matters, and how it reflects the world we live in. Join the conversation, share your take, and let's make sense of the culture shaping our lives one story at a time. Good morning, sunshine. Hopefully your day is off to a fantastic start. TGIT, right? Tuesday already. I just went to the grocery store, you guys, and they were selling these, my favorite cookies, Biscoff cookies. They were on sale for $1 a pack. Listen, I'm not trying to get big or nothing. So I stayed, comme on dit en français, j'ai resté sage. I stayed wise, I didn't get all the cookies, but I wanted all the damn cookies. Trust and believe. How good are those cookies? They're absolutely freaking delicious. Anyway, I'm kind of crazy because I only realized just now as I was going live here that I had completely forgotten to give today's live a title, right? So we're going to be talking about Beyonce and Jay-Z. They just bought up acres and acres of land in the United Kingdom countryside to build a fantastic, massive estate. And then afterwards, we're going to get into Jade Klein suffering a very serious breast infection that is typically associated with nursing. Jenelle is providing more details about her hookup with Lil Wayne, it wasn't a hookup. She says that she didn't put out or anything like that, but you know what I mean, right? Then we're going to talk about Kail Lowry clapping back at people who discredit her parenting of her 7 kids. Andy Cohen is in contact with Real Housewives of Potomac convict Karen Huger. And then we're going to finish things up with Kate Middleton's story. Do you all remember when she showed up with that terrible wig? It looks like the wig might have been a distraction for something a lot more serious. Let me give you guys a little bit of a preview photo. Did you guys notice anything off about these photos? We're going to get into it a little bit later, so stay tuned. If you find yourself enjoying today's episode of the Morning Report at any given moment, please don't hesitate to go ahead and give this a thumbs up so YouTube knows enjoy my content. Listen, that light doesn't look half bad on camera. I was actually kind of nervous about that because the camera typically doesn't like light colors, but here we go. It looks perfectly fine. All right, let's go, you guys. So let's see who we've got here today. We've got so many people joining us on TikTok. Tyrell is also here on TikTok while here on YouTube. Love that. Chloe, Amanda, small old lady is there as well. Nice to see y'all. We've got Gala over here on YouTube. Maria, we've got, love you too, Maria. We've got Ronnie over here as well. We've got Venetia, Tyrell also on the TikTok. So nice to see y'all here. Ooh, Ronnie's all the way up there in the mountains. You love to see it. Venetia, Ramster. So Maria number 2. Are we going to be in competition, the Marias versus the Ashleys? Who do we have more of? We've got Steph as well. Nice to see you, Big D. I was expecting to see a man. I was like, oh, which man is over here advertising? But it's a nice lady. Nice to see you, Big D. It feels so funny saying that. Hey, Kay. Hey, Kay. Sorry, Fake, Ahara. So nice to see y'all. Crystal's back as well. Good morning, Sunshine, Frog Lover, Jenny, Kate Ann. Winnie the Cat, Emily, Michelle, Laura, Castle Magic. How's that spell going, boo? We haven't forgotten. Tyrell, aren't you a witch too? How's that spell going? Witches, assemble. How is that spell going? Hey, Deshauna, nice to see you. Becky, nice to see all of you here. Why don't we jump into today's topics? Because we've got a lot to talk about. Listen, I see you, BB. I don't want you ending up with a suspended license like Karen. Be very, very careful. Nice to see you. Thanks so much for tuning in. Hopefully you put us nice and buckled up in the passenger seat as you're driving with your hands on, 10 and 2. Hey, Mindy, Christie's, Linda, Ashley is here. A is here. Stephanie. So nice to see all y'all here. Bonjour as well. And Minnie and 2 snaps. Listen. We got a lot to get into, you guys. We really, really do. And I'm so looking forward to it. And in today's episode of the Morning Report, we actually have so many videos to share. So the first story, just to kind of get your palates cleansed a little bit, or wet, as we like to say, Beyonce and Jay-Z, they're buying a home they're going to build an estate in the UK countryside. How exciting is that for the UK people to have them over there? I'm actually quite fascinated by this story in general, right? So a lot of celebrities have actually been moving there. You got Ellen DeGeneres. She's got her beautiful estate over there. And then I think there's some other Americans who have gone. I was going to say Rosie O'Donnell, but I believe she's in Ireland actually. But, I digress. Anyway, I love hearing about celebrities buying homes in different countries and continents. There's one celebrity whose real estate portfolio I am particularly obsessed with, and that is Lenny Kravitz. His Parisian home, gorgeous. His Brazilian home, to die for. He's got homes everywhere, right? I think he's got a home in New York too. He is truly living the life. I feel like if I were rich, that's what I would be doing too. Homes in different countries and whatnot, like a downtown home, his Parisian home is more of an apartment mansion type of thing, right? It's downtown, right? And then I think his Brazilian is by the beach, a little bit more chill, just have different kinds of environments and whatnot. So according to People magazine, they are in the final stages of purchasing 58 acres of land on the outskirts of Wigington, right? And so sources are saying that they've approved for planning permission to build a, quote, spectacular rural estate. And if they go ahead and build this estate, they wouldn't be far from Grade 2, which also has a lot of celebrities, both local to the UK and, from abroad. So it seems like that really is the hotspot for a lot of celebrities, right? And so apparently, again, this is where Ellen DeGeneres and wife Portia Rossi live. Speaking of Ellen's wife, Portia, I have been binging Arrested Development again. This is one of my favorite shows of all time. And so I'm binging it again, and I am so obsessed with it. From here and there, I do like to watch The Office, right? But I feel like I've already binged that a million times. But, getting back into Arrested Development is so freaking fun and exciting to me. I really, truly love that show. For some reason, for the longest time, I was convinced it was a Canadian show, actually, right? Thanks, Tyrell. Isn't it so cool to have you on both ends? So I don't know about you guys, but for the longest time, I was yeah, look at us. We got these amazing Canadian shows. We've got Degrassi. We've got Arrested Development, right? And you know what else I recently learned? I thought Little House on the Prairie was a Canadian show as well, but come to find out, that's not Canadian. Because when I'm thinking prairies, I'm thinking Saskatchewan and whatnot. And apparently that is not the case. Shelby says, I've started school and I've been missing these. I'm so glad to be here this morning. And we've been missing you, Shelby, and we're so glad to have you back. Hopefully everything is going okay, or great, actually exceptional at school. And we're still here whenever you're ready and whenever you've got a moment, so thanks so much for popping by. Hey, Ona, good morning. Good morning, little Miss Fluffy. Good morning, Kelly. Thank you so much. Thank you. Ramster. I should be calling you Maria, but I'm so used to calling you Ramster, boo. My gran and aunt were witches, but I don't think they passed it on to me. Damn it. We need all the witches we can get to make sure that David Eason is convicted on everything, and that he faces the absolute maximum. Mr. Dressup is Canadian, Tyrell. I had no clue. I used to love Mr. Dressup as well. That was a good show. What about Alan Strange? Did you guys watch Alan Strange? Because I like that show. Is that Canadian? Fleeing the country much? Well, listen, you've seen what's going on over there. I think it would be smart. Anybody who's able to, kind of pack up their bags and find somewhere to go, wait this out for a little bit. Why not, right? Especially if you can get yourself a new passport in the meantime. The more passports, the better, right? And this is not just a whatever's going on in America thing, but in the world. Listen, I'm Canadian. We're pretty chill as far as things go. However, the more passports, the merrier, even for me. That is my goal, right? In fact, I'm actually supposed to be making, good morning, Mocha. Good morning, Theo. I'm actually supposed to be making an appointment to go back and reclaim my Kenyan passport. Because y'all know I'm born in Kenya and I spent the first few years of my life there. So I'm Kenyan, right? And so we let that passport expire. But listen, the way things are looking on a global scale, let me go ahead and dust that thing off. Get a new one, just in case. Steph says, I heard J&B were leaving the US. Guess it's true. I would have been left. as far as it looks, it seems as though this is something they're going to be doing just as like a holiday home or something like that, not necessarily fully leaving, but I do think it's very smart, right? Like, why not? It's such an enriching experience for anybody to live abroad, right? And for them, sticking with a country that still has the same language, I think it's easier for them and their children as well. So why not? And the English countryside seems absolutely beautiful. There's this girl I follow on TikTok, and when I find her name, I'll be able to share it with you guys. But she's a British girl, and she's got this cottage with, like, maybe some of you guys know her. Acacia, if you're here, Bill, you probably know her. Anybody, Ramster, maybe anybody who's really into gardening content. But she's got this beautiful little cottage with so many like wildflowers everywhere. She's got ducks, she's got chickens and stuff. Like the English countryside seems absolutely to die for. And then there's this other influencer. She's an older Black woman, and she lives in this most beautiful home, and she's really into decor and just, all this stuff. It just looks like heaven, right? So good on them. Theo says, speaking of Paris, have you seen The White Lotus season 4 will be in France? Quelle surprise. No, I had no clue. Listen, you guys, nobody killed me, but I tried to watch The White Lotus and I barely got through the first episode. To me, it's kind of like, what's that other show everybody loves, but I can't get into? Schitt's Creek. I don't know why. The stuff, it just feels, I don't know. It's just not really my vibe. Sorry. Kelly says, I don't see the appeal of UK countryside just as well. I don't have two nickels to rub together. Listen, outside, weather aside, it seems beautiful, just calm, nice, well located and everything like that. It seems absolutely beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Jaleesa says, the other day I was thinking to myself, how does Beyonce live? Where does she live? Are the kids homeschooled? That's the thing. I think her kids go to... what do they go to? I think they go, what is that thing? Sierra Canyon or something? That's where all the celebrity kids go to, right? That's what I'm imagining. Because remember, there was like this thing that went viral of Beyonce performing for like school. Like there's something at school that had to be done where, like you bring the kids, you bring your parents to school or whatever. And Beyonce put down a full-blown production, right? So I know that at least Blue was, in school and whatnot. And, Blue participates in ballet and everything. Blue seems to have a pretty nice normal life, as normal as you can have when your mom is the freaking superstar herself, right? Beyonce, right? And your dad as well, Jay-Z. Just saying, all of this is really exciting. Congratulations to Beyonce and her family, even you too, Jay-Z. And, I'll keep you guys posted on how all this goes. I'm really looking forward to what kind of aesthetic their UK countryside home is going to have, right? I hope that they stay kind of connected and in touch and in respect to, what the traditional homes look like in the area. Because there's nothing worse than when people go to these like charming, beautiful places known for like their, architecture, unique architecture. And then they go and build one of those concrete boxes, ultra modern, floor to ceiling windows, harsh edges, no curves. Like, oh God, I would hate to see that. No offense to their LA home. They got that really expensive LA home. That's what that looks like. I would hate to see them build that in the UK countryside. Listen, can we talk about, I've got some cinnamon in here from the iced coffee I was making earlier, in case you guys are wondering. Jenelle said that she got a DM from Lil Wayne. A lot of people were not buying this, right? People said there's no way. All the options that man has, listen, we all know he's no looker himself, but all the options he has, and he's going to go for Jenelle, right? And so Jenelle, she's caught wind of what people have said about her, and she's back to share a little bit more information about what exactly went down in her interaction and with her meeting up with Lil Wayne. Before I share her video, I'm going to share these screenshots that she shared in her Twitch stream about it all. I was scrolling through, like, these are not just casual screenshots. She's like, look at this conversation, scroll, 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 because she had been tagging him about listening to his music and whatnot, right? And then he saw it, went through, looked at some of her reels, asked for her number, said be mine or whatever. She said, say less, king, and hopped on a flight. She said, F them kids, let's ditch them, go on a flight to see Lil Wayne, and the rest is history, right? He wanted to hook up, obviously, but she thought this was going to turn into a courting situation, which, couldn't be any further from what it actually wound up being, right? So like I said, Jenelle has a little bit of an update I want to share with you guys while I go find a plug for my computer that's about to die. Here goes.
Now that the news is broke about Jenelle saying that she was flown out by Lil Wayne, there are some doubters in the comments.
Girl, I don't know what you have against me, but you clearly are hating just to hate. I mean, you have nothing to hate on. but you're trying, and you're reaching. It's pretty funny. But no, this seriously did happen, and not gonna say too much about the situation.
Now that the news is broke about Jenelle saying that she was flown out by Lil Wayne, there are some doubters in the cop.
Girl, I don't know what you have against me, but you clearly are hating just to hate. I mean, you have nothing to hate on, but you're trying, and you're reaching. It's pretty funny. But no, this seriously did happen, and not gonna say too much about the situation because I mean, he didn't have me sign an NDA, and at first I didn't believe it was him until he FaceTimed me. And yeah, so we texted a lot, had great conversation before I even went out there. He's really respectful, really nice. And yeah, I just, I'm more of a person that wants to connect on a deeper level, so I'm not just looking for hookups. It was a fun experience, and yeah, I did have to leave my phone at the hotel. It was pretty scary because didn't know where I would end up that night, but took a chance. I ended up coming back to the hotel though, and I was safe. Everything was fine. His staff are nothing but amazing. They're really nice, so shout out to them. He was very hospitable, and yeah, so cool experience. I'm glad I met him. That's all I really have to say about it. And no, he did not like me in the red dress. That's not what I was talking about. He liked me in the reel I showed of my NYC trip when I went to my divorce party and I was doing all the different interviews in like that gray type of grungy dress. It was crazy because he didn't even know who I was from the show. He just stumbled upon my reel, and that's about it. No hard feelings between me and him, and yeah, it was a crazy story, and I figured since it's been a few months I would share it with you guys.
Hey guys, I don't know if you got to watch the full video or just little bits of it. On my end, it was choppy, it was stopping, I was panicking, trying to figure out what was going on. So were y'all able to see Jenelle explain a little bit more about what exactly went down with her Lil Wayne situation? Oh, Miss Fluffy says that age guy. How old is that man? I know he's got a daughter around Janelle's age, but remember, he had his daughter when he was only like 14 years old. So, and literally like 14 years old. I think the mom was 14 at least. Like the whole thing is so weird. Kelly says, I believe Jenelle this time. Some guys are misogynistic and want someone who's been passed around like, oh, damn, like community property. Mind you, Lil Wayne is community property too. Like that man's been around too. He's been laying it low, spreading it wide his whole life. Shelby says hooking up with Lil Wayne is not the flex she thinks he is. And I agree. Lil Wayne is trash. Like I would take that to my grave. If I ever even let him put a pinky up my nostril, I'd be like, oh my God, I'm not telling anybody. Ew, absolutely not. I'd be like itching myself all the way back home. Like, how could I? How could I? Great question, Steph. Can anybody check to see if Lil Tunchi is following Jenelle on Instagram? But here's the thing. Does he have to follow her, or does it just have to be that she's following him for him to be able to send her a DM? Because I think it's the latter, that you just have to be following that person. Good morning, Lynn. Nice to see you. So I'm seeing for some of you, the screen was frozen, but hopefully towards the end, you were able to watch that video. And that's the thing, Theo. She left these kids with a random babysitter to go and sit on a couch with Lil Wayne watching TV and maybe listening to some outtakes of like some music. Like, what is that, right? And I don't know if you were here yesterday. We were talking about how Jenelle, now that she's fallen out with Tori, she's trying to paint Tori out to be this terrible person. by saying, right? Oh, Tori never liked kids. She doesn't like my kids. She finds them annoying. I don't want anyone who doesn't like kids around me and my kids. Girl, she didn't fly Tori out, but you went all the way to North Carolina to go fetch this girl who you knew didn't like your kids to come live with you and your kids, right? Like, that is crazy. Absolutely crazy, right? And now it looks like there's more people in today's episode of the show who do kind of believe Jenelle. So I think at this point, we're kind of 50-50. Again, y'all, call me naive, but I do believe that this indeed happened. Leah says, we need to see the dress because I don't remember her ever looking good during her divorce era. I love that first emoji. That one makes me laugh. It was that red thing that had like the little cut. It's kind of similar to the cutout I got here. Hang on. Let me show y'all my bosoms a little bit. Like, it's kind of like this, but hers was like a little bit bigger, you know? That's enough. I'm not going to do too much now. Shelby says, no way. She sat on juicy gossip about herself for a few months. Get the heck out of here. And that's the thing, though, that I will say surprises me as well. The idea that Jenelle had this exclusive scoop. She could have even sold it, right? One thing about Jenelle, she always accuses her family of selling stories about her, right? However, Jenelle likes to sell stories about herself. So if Jenelle and again, I still believe her, but somehow I do find it strange that she didn't have like an exclusive source, quote unquote, go out there and sell the story like, you know, as a blind item or anything like that. So Shelby, I do think that that is a good point. However, again, for some reason, I still do believe that this happened. Lil Wayne is only 42. Listen, I told y'all, he's got a daughter who's grown, right? But he's only 42 because he had her extremely, extremely young. To be honest with you, what is Jenelle, 32? 32, 42 to me is a reasonable age gap. I don't see anything wrong with it personally. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Like, you know, both of these people I see as kind of like filthy, like just ick. You know what I mean? Like, it's that turns me off, to be honest with you. But the age gap itself, I don't see any problem with that personally. But I am curious to know what you guys think about it. Listen, he looks pretty good for 42 as well. You know, I'm not saying he's an attractive person. To me, he's the complete opposite of that. But his skin somehow, despite all of the drugs, despite all of the smoking, despite all of the alcohol, the lean, the whatever else it is that man does, his skin has stayed in pretty good condition. Listen, Jenelle is really upset that people think that she's lying. So don't be surprised if she shares more about this. And don't be surprised if you see me pop up on another episode of The Morning Report with some more intel on that. Okay. Now, why don't we get into our next chapter, girly? Teen Mom next chapter, girly, I should say. Jade Klein. Did you guys see Jade Klein talking about what she's been dealing with? One thing about Jade, the last time we spoke about her, she was talking about how she and her husband, Sean, and it still feels crazy to say her husband, Sean, right? Like, oh my God, she married that guy. They have brought on twins for some kind of like an exchange program, and they're going to be hosting them. That's the last time we spoke about her here. But now she's got this update, and it's a very painful update. I don't know if any of you guys have ever dealt with this before, but she has something called mastitis. And this is typically something that women can suffer from when they're breastfeeding. But now I'm learning for the first time that this can happen without even that, right? So she filmed a video on TikTok saying that she wanted to raise awareness because she wasn't aware of any of this or any of the possibilities. Quote, I've heard of people having like boob problems when they've had a baby. I have not heard of just someone randomly getting an infection in their boob. So take a listen, watch it for yourself. If you're enjoying the episode today, don't forget to hit that like. And then we're going to talk more about it on the flip side. And maybe this could help somebody. If any of you guys are having any of these symptoms, this could be very important to know.
I honestly never thought I would be making this video, but I really wanted to raise awareness because I wasn't aware of any of this or any of these possibilities. So let's get into it. On Friday of last week, I woke up and my boob kind of hurt, but I thought maybe I had wore a shirt or a bra or something that, you know, can like, even girls and guys like can like rub your nipple kind of raw, make it like a little tender. So that's what I thought it was. When I was in church Sunday, all I could remember like towards the end of service was how bad my boob hurt. And the pain didn't go away, it progressively got worse. I could tell it was swollen, it was hurting. And before you ask, no, I don't have breast implants, because on Snapchat people are like, do you have breast implants? No, I do not. So anyways, that weekend, obviously my doctor's not open, so I do one of those telehealth appointments like online. So I tell him what's going on: swelling, redness, hurts, hot. It's been going on like this for days and I'm feeling physically ill. So he's like, oh, it must be some type of infection. And I'm like, in my boob? Like, I don't understand that. And he was like, yeah, like ducts, pores, they can get infected. Even like milk ducts or something like that. Like, even if you haven't had a baby recently, like you still have all these things going on and it can get infected. And I'm like, huh, that is so bizarre. I've never even heard that. So he prescribes me antibiotic. I start taking them, okay, a couple days, start feeling just a little bit better. And then I think it was yesterday, I felt 10 times worse. I had a raging fever, the pain radiating from my chest. I couldn't sleep. I'm like, when I say miserable and the sickest I have ever been, like pure hell. So I go to my regular doctor this morning. She does an examination test. And at this point, I've been pushing through life. But when I tell you, in the worst hell, I looked horrible. My skin, I still feel like I look like trash, but that's besides the point. And my doctor tells me that, yeah, it's a severe infection, but she was like, the medicine that doctor gave you is not strong enough to deal with this type of infection, and you're borderline like septic. So she gives me basically what she said is like the strongest antibiotic, and she was like, look for all these signs. So I have to pay attention to all these signs in case I start basically going septic from an infection in my boob that she doesn't know. Like, she was like, there's nothing you could have done or prevented it. It's just like a weird thing that can happen. So basically I have to watch out for all the signs of being septic, which is, terrifying. And basically by tomorrow, she was like, if you are not better by end of day tomorrow, you need to check yourself in to the emergency room and you're going to have to undergo surgery. And I'm like, what? And I did not realize how serious this whole situation is, because I've heard of people having like boob problems when they've had a baby. I've heard of that. I have not heard of just someone randomly getting infection in their boob. I've never heard of anything like that. So I have a really high pain tolerance, okay? High pain tolerance. So, I was functioning. She couldn't believe I was like going to work. I was still up doing everything like normal with this horrible infection that was making my body just sick. So I'm just bringing awareness to this, because the first few days I really was just blowing it off and was like, not a big deal. And it is such a huge deal. And I'm just praying, I don't have to undergo any like emergency surgeries. I'm praying, I don't have to worry about being septic or getting septic. The whole situation is just bizarre, but I figured I'm going to make this video because it's like that weird of a situation where it's just like raise awareness. And I honestly didn't think it was a huge deal, and it is. And yeah, so we're going to give it to God and we're going to pray on it. But that's how my last week of my life has been.
Yes, that sounds like pure hell. I really cannot believe that she has been dealing with that behind the scenes. I remember, Gwen, I hope you're okay, boo. You might need to lie down. I remember Chelsea Huskat. Do you guys remember her opening up about dealing with this when she had either Watson or Lane? She said it was hell on earth, right? Like when she was nursing. So now to hear that this could even happen to you without like nursing being like a factor or whatever, whoo, Lord have mercy. And you guys are right. that it is kind of crazy that she went and saw a telehealth doctor over this instead of actually going and checking herself in and taking it a lot more seriously, right? Very, very sad, scary stuff, especially when she spoke about like going septic and everything. Like that is a very, very, very serious thing, right? Like it's only a matter of time before your internal organs start shutting down and attacking each other when you go septic. So wow, right? Gwen says, poor Jade. High pain tolerance is a double-edged sword. Twice I've had ER doctors ask me how I walked in there. Isn't it, right? Because they're always asking you on a scale of 1 to 10, scale of 1 to 10. Well, your 1 to 10 is different from somebody else's 1 to 10, right? And so does it mean that your thing should be taken less seriously just because your tolerance or threshold is higher? I don't know, right? Like, yeah. My goodness gracious. Let me take a look at what some of you guys had to say about this, okay? Laura says, I've never breastfed with 3 kids and have dealt with it more than once. Ow! I cannot imagine dealing with this one time, let alone 3, you know? Ouch. Ramster says, I've had that boob infection when I was 11. I just grew a boob overnight. Doctors were baffled how this happened at 11. That is so intense. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Even at 11 years old dealing with this. Oh my God. Jasmine says mastitis is a clogged and infected duct. It can happen from saliva, which makes me think it probably happened during adult time. Those are the risks. Damn, I really associated this with breastfeeding. And I think it's because the only time I ever really heard about this was when Chelsea was talking about it, right? Dealing with it while she was breastfeeding. That's the first and only time I heard about it. So like now finding out that this can happen like from, you know, getting down, you know, like other like things, like, damn, I had no clue. Stay woke, y'all. Stay woke. That sounds absolutely brutal. Tyrell had left some comments here about Jade that I wanted to get to. She says that Jade has always been too strong, doing it all on her own, basically just doing what has to be done. And I agree. That's the thing about Jade, right? I imagine that she was still the one doing all the cooking, all the cleaning, all the bringing the home money while Sean sits around and she's like struggling, you know, handling things with their daughter and everything, you know, on one, like running on empty while Sean is just playing video games and jerking off into condoms and putting those condoms into the kitchen trash. Y'all remember that storyline? Like that guy was insane. Still is. Winnie the Cat says it's very dangerous because the infection can spread to the heart. Anything physical like that should never be done via telehealth. Oh my God. The idea of that just spreading. That is insane. The high fever. Oh, it sounds brutal, brutal, brutal. I'm so happy that she survived this and that she is sharing her experience as well. Because again, so many of us, or maybe I'm just talking about myself, maybe y'all knew, but like so many people don't know that this can happen just like, you know, I'm getting down, getting freaky, you know, or just randomly, right? Like, nah, that's really, really brutal. Like take it seriously, that kind of pain. Get yourself to a doctor in person as soon as possible. Jasmine says, I also had it twice when I was nursing my honey. It's so painful. Fever of 103 and 4 for 3 days. My breast was huge and red and rock hard. Ow! It was horrible. Listen, y'all, I don't want to give myself forehead wrinkles, but oh, that sounds brutal. Oh God. Oh, all of this sounds so damn painful. I cannot even imagine dealing with this for multiple days too, Lord. Can men get this? If this is something that you don't have to be pregnant, don't have to be breastfeeding, can men get this as well? Or is it something that just impacts women? Ashley says, does anyone know when the new season of Teen Mom premieres? Listen, we're not even sure that they're filming for it. All the stars so far have been hinting that like nothing's really happening with it. Janelle on her Twitch stream, same thing. She says none of the girls have said anything about filming. Mind you, maybe she's not even going to be asked to be on it because she's been kicked off many times. However, she is friends with Brianna DeJesus. So if Brianna were filming, she would know. Right? Brianna has brought her in for a storyline a couple of times in that last season. She just says, I put schoolwork and physical therapy aside every day to watch Grace. I take nothing seriously in life. Jaleesa, you got to study, boo. You got to see your physical therapist. You guys crack me up sometimes with your comments. Oh my God. Y'all kill me. Lord have mercy. I hope your recovery is going well, by the way, boo. Misha, nice to see you, my Ottawa girl. Late again, please don't suspend me. Don't worry, you're good here. You're good here. Oh, Lord. I also saw somebody leave a comment about how athletic women can deal with this too, like from like sweat. Oh my God. So I guess you really have to scrub down those nipples after a workout. Oh my God. Like it's so crazy. So many things you don't even think about, like, you know, happening to you can happen. Like it's crazy, right? And apparently men can get it. Okay, good. not good, like, but like, damn, like I'm tired of things impacting women, it's like, I want to know if this pain can be shared, because it feels like all the pain falls on women always. Hamlet says, I went to labor at 26 weeks and had no clue. Really? I only found out because I thought I was about to pass a kidney stone due to blood in my urine. They put me in a monitor and saw the contractions. I hear stories like this of, women who didn't know that they were pregnant. And then when they're like or even some who did know, right? And they didn't know that they were going into labor because they've had period cramps that are so intense, like their whole lives, right? That like this kind of felt like that too, right? Wow, that's crazy. I hope everything went well for you and the baby, Hamlet. 26 weeks sounds very early, so I hope everything went well. Lynn says, my brother had septic and it went to his heart. And he ended up with open heart surgery and lost his spleen. I'm so sorry to hear that. Oh, Lord, this sounds so brutally painful. Ouch. Honestly, wow. Even things like that a lot of people get, like even young, like strep. I have always been so prone to strep throat, you guys. But like you always have to get these things treated like as soon as possible. A lot of people think, oh, it's just a sore throat, whatever, it'll go away. But the longer you put it off, the higher the risk that you can go into septic shock and stuff like that. And that is absolutely brutal, so you really, really have to take care of things. A lot of people, they're like, oh, it's just a fever, I just take some this and that. No, like go see your doctor as soon as possible. Bayday says, how the F could they qualify to house twins real quick? Listen, we're all curious about that too. Clearly the organization did not do their due diligence, because one singular episode of Teen Mom, next chapter, or Teen Mom 3 or whatever, you're getting pregnant, and you would know not to put any children into that house, because that is absolutely insane. They can barely handle their one daughter and they speak to her very poorly. They're so impatient with her. Their life is chaotic. They've got like a crackhead with who's picking out her eye at the dinner table, screaming and cursing in front of everybody and the children, with her big gulp. And how I miss that big gulp. Somebody here has been telling me for a while that they want to send me a big gulp cup, and I want to proudly display it here. I might listen, if you send me a big gulp cup, whoever my cutie is who wants to send me that, I feel like I know who it is. Since I picture you guys, is it you, Gwen? I picture people by profile photos, but the profile photo might have been changed. I'm going to replace this vase, or maybe this one, with a big, no, I need more space. It'll be this one with a big gulp cup. If you send me one, I have to look into getting a PO box for that. Winnie the Cat says, fun fact, my first was supposed to be a triplet, but she absorbed the other two in utero. So I had 2 empty water sacs when she was born. Oh my God, Winnie the Cat. What did you name her? First of all, sorry for your losses for your other 2. But what did you name this warrior who absorbed her siblings? Oh my God, hang on. Let me bookmark this so I remember to come back to you, because I'm curious about that. Oh my God. Wow. Lisa, I'm studying pop culture when I watch you. I'm studying. I love that. Nice to see you, Misha. Have a great day. So nice of you to pop by. Ramsey says, had my tonsils removed at 21. Now that's painful. I would have killed to have my tonsils removed. Oh, I got my nose done by an ears, nose, throat doctor, and I wanted him to just take my tonsils out when he was there. He said, no, you can't just ask me to do that last minute. I said, oh, damn. Oh, God, I don't want to go under again. So I guess I'm going to have to get stuck with these and having my damn, what do you call these? Not tonsillitis, strep throat every year. The worst. Listen, y'all, we got to get into Kail. Kail is tired of people mom shaming her. Do I have a picture of Kail? Yeah, I do have a picture of Kail and her 7 kids. When I saw this photo, I said, wow, oh my God, wow. You know what? Okay. You like that. Isn't that crazy? This is her whole crew. She's got Isaac, Lincoln, Lex, Creed. And this is where I get lost. Rio, Verse, and Valley. Oof, what a team indeed. And just thinking that our age, we're around the same age. I'm going to be 32 in October, and I think she already just turned 32. I'm like, wow, I cannot imagine my life dealing with 7 kids on my own. Yeah, she's got nannies or whatever, but still oh my God. Honestly, kudos to her for keeping this up. You know, not popping out kids with every, you know, Tom, Dick, and Harry, but like for being able to survive whatever this is, you know, like I don't think I would be able to. I got to be honest with you guys. This is just not a lifestyle for me. But wow, it's actually incredible when you look at it. You know what I mean? Absolutely incredible. Anyway, listen, she was posting on her TikTok about like, you know, her life with all the kids and whatnot. And somebody had made a comment that pissed her off, something about, oh, well, she's got a lot of help, kind of like, okay, well, you know, she can stop kind of like patting herself on the back right now because she's got nannies who are handling everything. And Kail decided to clap back. And I want to share that video, but I have to go back and zoom out. Hang on. You know, my StreamYard is being like so irritating to me right now. Hang on. Okay, hang on. I'm trying to put this video for you. I guess sometimes when you've got too many videos or you've got several videos loaded up, the thing can be a little bit buggy. Listen. Why are you doing this to me? Question mark. I just want to put up my videos. Here it is. I believe that this is the video. Merde. Do I even have the video? I don't think I even teed up the video. Hang on. Oh, you guys, I never even teed up the video. Where is it? Merde. Where's that video? I think it was a TikTok video. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? It's a TikTok video. I downloaded it. I know for a fact I downloaded it. But behind the scenes, I'm looking at a video of Jenelle. I'm looking at a video of Jade. And I am looking at a video of Andy Cohen. But for some reason, I am not looking at a video of Kail Lowry, which is a problem. Let me see if I could find it on our Instagram, perhaps. You know, on her Instagram, I don't know if you guys really follow her there like that, but she was just sharing this like day in the life, like it's back to school with the kids and stuff. And she's like pulling wagons out of her car and everything. And like, you know, I don't think all the kids fit into one car or something like that. Like Isaac was supposed to have the yellow bus come and fetch him, but there's something happened with the bus. So she had to find a way to get him there, despite the fact that, like, you know, like, I don't think all these kids fit in one car. I was like, oh my God, like, wow, like this is somebody's life. Like, that's so fascinating. Jesus. Honestly, all the more power to people who have a lot of kids. This sounds so overwhelming to me. Oh my God. You know, I have this dog. She's over there. She's taking a nap. And, you know, I only watch her for my friend during the days. And even that is so overwhelming to me. I'm like, oh my God, this is too much responsibility. Leave me alone. I get so happy when it's the end of the day. I really like her and everything, but oh my God, I get so happy to have my peace and quiet to myself. I just love peace and quiet, y'all. I really do. I think I'm meant to just like, to just chill. You know, I think if I ever had kids, I would be one and done, to be honest with you. God bless those of you who can have so many of them. Oh my God. But you know what? I do like the whole like two thing, like they can keep each other company when you're trying to go to the bathroom or something. That at least is nice. But then when people have like these full football teams, right? Like 8, 9, whatever, however many, like, oh my God, like that's so much, so overstimulating. Anyway, listen, I'm going to play the video and I want to know what you guys think on the flip side. Okay, here goes.
Y'all love to say that I don't raise my kids. I have childcare. Yes, I have help from 8 to 4, Monday through Friday. These are traditional working hours. A lot of people put their kids in daycare from 9 to 5. A lot of people have babysitters that they pay for. I do the same thing. I do not have a live-in nanny. I do not have a round-the-clock nanny. I do not have a round-the-clock help. After 4 o'clock, if I needed a babysitter, I would have to pay for that. So if you guys could kindly stop discrediting what I do for my kids, that would be great. On the other side of that, I am blessed to have in-home childcare. Not everyone can afford to have that. And so with that being said, yes, I do have help no matter which way you cut it. But if you guys could just stop discrediting what I do, that would be fantastic. And I'm going to let this run for 1 minute just so I collect my coins so I can pay for the childcare. Thank you so much. And we're at a minute.
I thought it was funny, her little thing. I'm going to let this run for a minute. You know, one thing about Kail is before, when she did have a live-in nanny, she wouldn't really address this stuff, or she would find some other thing. But now that she no longer has that live-in nanny, it's, oh, I don't have a live-in nanny. I'm doing it all. It's like, okay, well, so I guess you see what people were talking about back in the day then when they were making the same kind of criticisms, right? About you claiming that you're this single mom, blah, blah, you have no help. Like, yeah, you've got your own village. It's a paid village, which, you know, good for you, but it's a village, right? Like a night nurse, a nanny, someone who does your laundry, all sorts of things. I don't know why she doesn't like to acknowledge it. Hey, Bibi, did you change your picture? I really like this. This is so pretty. I love all of those sparkles on you. That's so cute. She doesn't like to be spoken of and shamed, but that's how she makes her money. Take a whole seat. Exactly. Girl, bye. Goodbye, honestly. Star, yeah, 6 boys and 1 girl. She said, yep, I got my girl. I'm finally done with all of this, right? Thank you, Tyrell. Yes, exactly. We were just listening to Kail clap back at some haters who were asking her to at least acknowledge the privilege that she has in having like childcare and whatnot. So I want to know what you guys think about this argument. Listen, some people in the comments section were saying, who's who? Let me pull it up. Good cue. Some people were saying in the comment section, it's kind of like how some people, they have parents, right? Or grandparents for their children who help them out, right? And so I definitely do understand that argument too, but I think that both of them are privileges, but in different ways, right? If you have like your family members who can help you with your kids, it's a wonderful privilege, you know, and if you have nannies, it's a wonderful privilege. But I think that that's how these things should work, right? Like you should have some kind of community. I do think that it's impossible to be able to do all of this without somebody to help you, right? Like it's no way, there's no way one person can handle 7 children of vastly different ages all on their own. I don't really think it's something that people should be shamed for. I only think that like calling somebody out for acting like, you know, they're doing it all alone when they're not, like, I do think that that's something people should call out. But I think that we should be happy to see parents have either relatives or paid help to help them. Just saying. Anyway, since Stephanie was asking who's who, we've got Isaac, who now goes by Elliot, carrying a baby over there. And the baby he's carrying is Verse, one of the twins. And the other twin, no, is that no? Oh, God, listen, I can hardly, you know, the girl, she's very big compared to the other one, right? Like as in tall, right? Like, is she really born at the same time as the one that Isaac's holding? Because the one that Isaac's holding looks absolutely tiny, like half her size. So anyway, I think those are the twins, right? So Verse and Valley. Then next to Isaac and Kail, in the middle there is Lincoln. In the green is Lux. And then in the Nike shirt, that is Creed. And then in the peach sweatsuit, that would be Rio. So that's Kail and her brood. And she says, listen, did you see that little one over there? I have 9 to 5 childcare. Get over it. Which, you know what? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Honestly, how would you be able to run all those businesses and whatnot without any help? It's just, you know, acknowledge it. Anyway, Bibi says, I saw Becky back at Kail's. She's back at Kail's because, you know, Kail is finally back on her podcast. Listen, she's been off of these podcasts since she went to get that surgery done. And it's been really like dry. I don't listen to these podcasts when she's not there because I'm only there to, you know, to relay to you her mess. And so on the podcast with Becky, the Friend of Me podcast, I like to call it, well, she's back today. And yeah, like they were talking about how Kail and her kids are going to be going to Becky's house this weekend. Can I ask you guys, do you have kids, friends with like 1,000,001 kids? Like, how does it work when they come over to your house? Listen, my friends and I were very child-free. Like my first set of friends to have kids, they're 40 years old. Okay. Like, so I don't really like live in this kind of universe, but I'm kind of curious for you guys how it works. You know, when somebody comes over like for a play date or whatever, maybe you have 1 or 2 kids and they've got like 10 or 20, like, how does that work? Very, very curious about all of this. Like, I think Kail has kind of talked a little bit about this. Thanks, guys. But I'm very, very curious overall. Hamlet says, I really hope she has time to give each child the attention that they need, but I doubt it. I doubt it too. I think it's really, really difficult with all listen, how are you reading 20 books, right? Having one-on-one time with 7 children, you know, and then half these children are in a bunch of different extracurricular activities or going to different schools and whatnot, you know, like, do you really have time? I don't know. I don't know. I got to be honest with you. Lynn says, Kail doesn't scream mom to me. I could imagine living a child-free life. I think she wanted to be child-free. And then when she had one, she got addicted and she just kept on going and going and going. Bree says, but Kail needs to just be grateful she does have help. Exactly. Regardless, she's able to live a very comfortable lifestyle. And it's not because she has no help. Girl, bye. We got it. She has ego issues. And that's the thing. You know, and I think even if like your parents were helping you with your kids, when you have that kind of money that she has, like, maybe it would be nice to pay them anyway. So it still kind of would be like under the whole paid help situation, right? Ramster says, Kail just wants to have applause. That's the thing. Weren't we always calling her a martyr or whatever? Yeah, like she has a hero complex. That's what it is. That's what it is. It's like, oh my God, congratulations on letting like 4 men shoot up your club. 4 men who didn't care. No, Javi did, right? But like most of these men didn't care about her, didn't give a rat's ass about her. And we're supposed to be like, wow, you're so amazing. You're so strong. Or maybe you just don't make good decisions. Maybe you don't. Life doesn't have to be, this uphill battle or whatever when you make smart decisions. Just saying. Gwen says, if I had a nanny and I'd get to basically be, I'd be willing to have more kids too. Damn. Right? All those glorious kids. 23-year-old girl, boy of 16, girl of 11. What a nice little kind of gap in between them. Oh, hey, Jody, have you been? I haven't seen you in a minute. They follow you to the RR. I have 3 girls. Your 3 girls, my dream. How does it feel to be living my dream job? And she knows that. For me, honestly, if I were 1, a girl. If I were 2 girls. If I were to have 3 girls. Oh, Lord. Oh God, I love chatting with you guys. Listen, I'm still kind of playing around with like the formatting since trying to like put up that Kail video. My whole formatting has kind of like fallen off. So I'm still just trying to like get it back together. So what I'm going to have to do is play a word from some of our sponsors. Again, if you're enjoying today's episode of the show, please don't hesitate to go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And then hopefully we'll be able to get this formatting back together because guess what? We do have another video that we have to share. And this time it is going to be of Andy Cohen on the streets. I actually think Andy Cohen calls a paparazzi on himself, honestly. And he's talking about being in communication with Karen Huger and her potentially returning to the Real Housewives of Potomac post-jail stint. So stick around. We've got that coming up. If you're enjoying today's show, please don't hesitate to go ahead and give it a thumbs up.
The Morning Report is brought to you by Philo. Watch your favorite shows and movies from over 70 different channels, including MTV, TLC, WeTV, and more for only $28 a month. Get a free trial today by clicking the link in the description box of this video to get your free trial up and running. Tired of learning languages in boring, frustrating ways? Try TalkPal. TalkPal is your personal AI language tutor. It teaches you languages in fun, engaging ways. It gives you real-time feedback, assesses your pronunciation, and the learning process is personalized just for you. Join millions of other learners and start your language learning journey today.
Oh, you made me laugh. Bibi says she's going to send me her girls. The girls aren't what they used to be. What do you mean? That is absolutely hilarious. They were driving up the wall. Jaleesa says, I'm a former nanny, and I hate the discussion around how people think having a nanny means parents don't do anything. Obviously, Kail works. Sorry, I'm still trying to get this formatting right. Just because it's not the typical jobs we do. You know what? And I think that's fair too. That's fair too. Listen, I think parents should have a village. There's this girl, speaking of like nannies and whatnot, there's this girl. And if I find that video, it was on Instagram actually, but if I find that video again, I'll share it with you guys, or maybe it's TikTok. And it's this girl, she's posted this video. It's her with like her kids, right? And I think she's got like 3 daughters, 2 or 3. And the caption was, people always ask how I managed to look refreshed and how I do it all with like, having these kids. She's like, I've got 2 kids, 3 nannies, or was it 3 kids, 4 nannies or something like that? I said, you know what? Hell yeah. But people in the comment section were so upset with her that she wasn't suffering. To a lot of people, to be a real mom, to be an amazing mom, you have to be suffering. You can't have time for yourself. Like you have to be over what do you call it? Like over leveraged or whatever. And I really love that like these days, like women are kind of flipping that on its head. Like, no, absolutely freaking not. I'm still going to live my like soft life, even though I have my kids. Like, you know what? Like, I feel like that's the goal. Like, if you have kids or whatever, to be able to have help, whether it's familial help or hired help or whatever, so that you're still able to have things for yourself, time for yourself, energy for yourself, all sorts of things, Anyway, listen, y'all, we're going to get into the Housewives of Potomac. Look, I'm about to talk your ears off today. We're going to go well over that hour, I think, today. So hopefully y'all don't have too much to do. I know somebody should be studying. So sorry to be keeping you sorry to be keeping you past your studies, boo, but we got some more to get into, okay? I'm trying to finish this episode so I can get you back into your book. So Andy Cohen was caught on the streets and people were asking him what's going to happen with the Real Housewives of Potomac now that, convicted criminal Karen Huger has been officially let out of prison. And he had quite a bit to say. Okay, so take a look at what it is that Andy Cohen had to say when they caught up with him on the street.
Karen is out of jail.
Yes.
Have you spoken to Karen?
We have texted.
Okay.
And I will be speaking with her imminently.
How is she?
I will let you know after I speak with her.
Oh my God. Okay, last, is she coming back to the show?
I hope so.
Okay, we appreciate you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Andy.
Bye.
Ciao.
There you go, you guys. Andy Cohen is in communication with the Grand Dame herself, Karen Huger. And just so you guys know, Karen Huger is also in communication with Giselle Bryant as well. This is something that Kenya Moore let us know on social media the other day. So Karen is very much in the fold. And we saw that photo of Karen being released from prison. And in that photo, there were Bravo cameras, right, in the car. And then on the outside, we saw Bravo cameras being set up to film her going, right? So there you go. Karen Huger is very much still in the fold. He's acting like he's playing coy and whatnot. However, she's already filming. He didn't even say that. I don't know why he didn't say that. I think he's trying to build up anticipation. But if you know, when it comes to Bravo and everything, right? Like they would not miss out on an amazing opportunity like this. Anytime a housewife has gone to prison or jail or whatever and come out, the network has been there with their cameras ready, and it has made it into that very season of the show. So rest assured, we will be seeing Karen Huger with her face is probably going to be quite a bit different because she likes her fillers and her Botox, and she wasn't really able to re-up on that stuff during the 6-month prison stint. However, and I think she had darker hair or something. I don't know. I'm really excited to see what her hair looks like too. Coming out. I think she's wearing some kind of a bandana or whatever. She looked drastically different to me, but maybe it was just like a low resolution photo. I'm really excited to see like a proper photo of La Grande Dame herself. Okay. Now, speaking of, I want to see what somebody actually looks like or whatever. I want to ask you guys this question. Remember when we were talking about Kate Middleton the other day and how like this wig that she wore was very wiggy, didn't look natural at all, whatever. There's a post that's currently going viral on Reddit that I wanted to come here and share with you guys. There's like a royal gossip page, right? They're saying, what if the wig was a distraction for something? Because when you look at Kate Middleton in these photos, does it look like she's comfortable standing? Like, why are her hands so out there, right? Like, why are her knees all weirdly bent and she's leaning over forward and everything as if she's having a difficult time standing upright? And so, we all know that Kate has been going through some things behind the scenes. The palace has never been 100% clear about what exactly it is, but it looks like whatever she's going through, she still is kind of dealing with that and battling that behind the scenes, because these photos are a little bit worrisome, to say the very least. I don't know. I don't know what exactly it is that she's got going on, but it doesn't look great. Even like her clothes are all just hanging off of her. It looks like she can barely keep them up and everything. Like, it just looks like she's in a lot of pain and having a difficult time, and, as far as her loss of balance, it's especially interesting or remarkable because she's not wearing heels in these photos, right? Or in this particular outing. So why is it she's wearing flats, she's in pants, and she doesn't seem to be very stable or steady on her feet? So I really, really do hope that, Kate is able to get help, not get help, but to get well soon, right? Because it just doesn't look good. And, sometimes with celebrities, whenever they do, and listen, I'm not saying she had any cosmetic work done, but it goes in the same vein. When celebrities, they get work done to their face or whatever, they'll show up with like a really weird haircut or a wig or something, and everybody talks about the wig and ignore the fact that they got like, I don't know, lip injections, a nose job or something else, or like blepharoplasty or whatever. it kind of feels like this might have been that sort of a situation with the Kate Middleton thing, right? Not that she got work done. I do not believe that Kate got work done. However, I think that the wig was a distraction for how uncomfortable it looked for her to be even out there in public, right? Like she just, it was kind of giving Donald Trump. You know how Donald Trump, he leans like over like extremely forward and whatnot when he's standing around and stuff, and like people are concerned about the state of his health and whatnot. Like she's looking like a total deer in headlights, like just not looking good, So best of luck to Kate moving forward. Again, I'm disappointed in the messaging from the palace here. They've been very confusing about the messaging for what's going on with her from the very, very beginning. And so a lot of people are just like left feeling very confused and in the dark about this, like half of the responsibility for royalty is to bring awareness to important causes, right? Like causes impacting health, etc. Right. So I think it's strange that this is an opportunity, similar to what Charles has done for his cancer, right? Like he's been open, he's been shining a light on, cancer and whatnot. But you're just not really seeing that in Kate's side. So I just wish they would be more open, right? Even with the wigs, like let us know. You can go ahead and confirm you're wearing a wig. We already know it and we see it. But why don't we talk about it and how difficult it can be to find a natural looking wig when we're dealing with the effects of cancer and whatnot? I think that we're missing out on a very, very important conversation, but I digress. And listen, Bay Day, I'm disappointed in Karen, but I can't hate her either. But I just hate the stuff that she does. I really wish that she wasn't out here getting 3-4, different DUIs, right? Yeah, I think so too. She's having a really, really, really difficult time, right? And Alexis, it looks like she's in a worse shape than they would like us to believe, because I think they said she was in remission. But when did they announce that? Like last year or early this year or something like that? It just doesn't look good. She looks very, very fragile, as Becky said. Let me go ahead and put those photos back up. I'm still kind of like taken aback by these photos. And again, I was so distracted by that terrible wig that I didn't even notice how frail she looked, right? Like I did not even notice at all. I've never seen her standing around like looking so awkward and off balance like this, right? Alexis, yes, but even the way she announced that she's had cancer, it was never I had cancer. It was cancer cells had been present, or just all this stuff. And then going into the surgery, Palace said she's going into her surgery, but don't worry, she doesn't have cancer, and just all this other stuff. Like they have never been as clear, straightforward as King Charles and his team have been, is why a lot of people are kind of feeling very confused, or wondering if there's something else going on behind the scenes that isn't being spoken about. Winnie the Cat says it's very sad. She looks like she should be in bed being taken care of, not making public appearances. BB says, I assumed it was cancer, and wigs, my opinion, leaning heavily on to cancer. Bay says, I don't think they owe us too much, like with Chad Boswick. It's best not to even speculate anymore, especially because she said cancer. Laura says, I feel awful for Kate. Yes, Chadwick Boseman. Yep. I agree. Peacemaker. I've never even heard of that show. Where do you watch that, Laura? Where do you watch that? Sad. When he says so many cancer patients, both young and old, could be inspired if Kate showed her own hair struggles in a real way. And that's the thing, like Chadwick Boseman is one thing to me because Chad was an actor, but when somebody is quote unquote royalty and their job is about, bringing awareness to these sorts of things, it's weird when they shy away from it on their own. But at the same time, Queen Elizabeth shied away too, right? Queen Elizabeth was battling cancer and they were very quiet about it. And she was even working up until the day before she passed away, right? So all of it, I don't know. I find that to be very strange about them. I find that to be very hypocritical as far as royals are concerned, the way that they're able to go through things privately. But then when other people are sick, they show up with cameras, right, for their photo ops to look and feel like good people or whatever. So why is it that when regular people are battling cancer or, illnesses, they're ready with a camera, but when it's their time, because it's so important to spread awareness, we really want to fight this, we want to raise money, but when it's their time to be the actual example, no, like we're not going to do it. I don't know. I don't like that. Becky says it's so obvious they dressed her to look more full, oversized. Yeah, like the pants look like they're very, very small already, right? And they're still so baggy. HBO and Peacemaker. Listen, Winnie the Cat, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take a screenshot. Hang on. So that I can remind myself to watch it. Listen, I hope whatever's going on with Kate, she is able to beat it and she's able to get well soon, because these photos really did take me by surprise this morning, and they were not good. Not good at all. And don't forget, the British royals are in bed with the press, so the press is not going to actually be open about what really is going on behind the scenes, and the prognosis and everything, the way that they would to other people. But hey, get well soon, Kate. Get well soon. Anyway, you guys, that does it. Another episode of The Morning Report. I really hope that you guys had not an amazing, but a good enough time hanging out with me, at least good enough to come back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we're going to talk more about the day's hottest stories. If you enjoyed today's show, please do not forget to give it a thumbs up on your way out, okay? Take good care, you guys, and I'll see you next time.